All right, welcome Know the Odds listeners. We are here to cover football's best bets of Week 14. It's going to be a shorter video this week because we only have two best bets for you this week, but they're good ones, so stick around. I'm super excited about them. I'm Mason Poole here at Know the Odds. We try to bring you the best insights on betting, fantasy picks, and for this week only, breaking news. That's not what we're all about, but it just so happened to work out that we have some breaking news to share with you. At least at the time of this recording, it's probably old news by now. But let's jump right into it. This is Grid Money. Whoa, we don't have time for intro music. What was I thinking? We got bets to cover. First off, there are two teams this year that we've been 100% accurate. If somebody wants to check the tape and correct me on that, I don't think they will. But we've been 100% accurate on two teams when we call them for best bets this year. One of them, oddly enough, is the Cincinnati Bengals. We did good on them this last week. We had them, one of our best bets of the week was that they would get their first win and moneyline bet in Week 13. Hopefully you were listening and got action on that one because that's what they did. We've used them a few times in the past and had success with those spread bets with them. The other team that we've had great success with this year comes into play for our first best bet of the week. It's the Atlanta Falcons. America loves to bet on the Falcons. And there's a couple reasons for that. They don't really make sense to me, but to the average bettor who's just looking at the very minimal stats, it makes sense to them, and it seems to be working because bets are very heavily weighted towards Falcons in each of their games. To compensate for that, Vegas changes the line so that they can get even action, and when they tweak it enough, that's when we strike. And we've been doing good with that. And we're going to try to make good on it one more time. I don't mean to jinx myself on this whole thing, calling out perfect records on these teams, but that's how we've been having success lately. So, Panthers are playing the Falcons. Falcons are favored to win by 3 points. A couple things here. First of all, like we said, that line is twisted to make the Falcons less attractive to be bet on. Too many people go into the Falcons, so they boost up the lines of the other team, in this case the Panthers, in an effort to get more people to bet on the other side of the Falcons. Other thing is the Panthers are a very high-scoring team on average. They've had their troubles, but they know how to get the points. They have a much higher average than the Falcons as well. At this point, I have the Panthers covering the 3-point spread against the Falcons. Now, I mentioned breaking news. Just found out the Panthers are now done with Ron Rivera. He is out of there. No word on where he's going next, if anywhere, so long as it's not with Carolina. Now, this could play to our advantage. First off, if Ron Rivera is not the reason that they've had such high-scoring games and why they've had the successes that they've started off with this year, then getting rid of him isn't going to really affect how the outcome of this week's game is going to go. I'm not seeing a reason why we should think that Ron Rivera is responsible for any of the points that were going to be scored this week. So don't be nervous about him being there. The Panthers are still going to do their thing. But that is not how the average bettor thinks. With this recent development, I'm guessing that later in the week, a lot more bets are going to be pouring towards the Falcons side of the ball, which is, again, going to boost the line, at which point it's going to make the money line bet for the Panthers much more attractive. If the moneyline bet goes above plus 160 odds, I would jump on the moneyline bet there. But at this point, I'm taking the Panthers to beat the spread of 3 points against the Falcons. Moving on to best bet number 2. It's actually on Monday night. Giants are playing the Eagles, which is a matchup of what is turning into two underwhelming teams that started off with a lot of energy. But this late in the season, not much has been happening for them offensively, defensively. Eagles are the favorites by 9 points. Now, I've got some problems with that. First off, the Eagles have not covered the spread in 60% of their games. And as it gets towards the end of the season, they seem to be getting worse and worse. Giants were never in contention really this season, but they still put up some major points, which is why a very high spread of 9 points, 2 scores, at least a touchdown and a field goal, combined with the Eagles' lack of ability to cover the spread in the majority of the cases, combined with the Giants' ability to score a lot of points in random games, Makes me think that we found a very attractive best bet for you here, and the Giants to cover the spread against the Eagles. 2-score games are fairly rare, even against teams that are supposed to be a blowout. And get this, the Eagles have only won one game this year by more than 8 points. I just think that it's extremely cocky of Vegas to think that the Eagles are going to win by 9 points against the Giants. But I'll stop beating that dead horse. We got Panthers and the Giants as our 2 best bets of Week 14. Jump on it. I'm excited about it. Let's talk fantasy football a little bit. Our last quarterback deal of the week, Tom Brady, did great in his loss to the Texans. Hope you guys had success in the rest of your team picking skills this last week. We are going to change our deal of the week now to a very undervalued quarterback in FanDuel's eyes for some reason, to Deshaun Watson, who's playing the Broncos this week. For the very reasonable price of $7,700 on FanDuel, you can get Deshaun Watson on your team, and that's a steal. He's projected to do very well against the Broncos, and you know that the Texans are going to be fighting for a win because they need it, as it helps in their playoff placement. So he's our quarterback deal of the week. Go check out knowtheodds.net fantasy rankings page to get all the other positions. And if you like what you're hearing here, we appreciate the support if you subscribe so you can know exactly when our weekly episodes are coming out. Hey, if there was a line for it, I'd bet that I'd like football way more than anybody else. I'm Mason Poole. It's a blast being with you guys. Good luck this week. Bye.